The desert was silent, but it was not serene. A deadly storm of sand and wind roared over the Iraqi border, devouring everything in its path. Inside the storm, Captain James Mac McAllister perched in his M1A1 Abrams tank, heart racing as he peered into the horizon through his thermal sight. It was too dark to see through the storm, but Mac knew there was something standing out there, something waiting for them. His gut told him it was no routine mission. "Stay sharp," he told the others over the radio, steady but strong. Storm is not the only thing living in desert. It was February 1991, Day 3 of Operation Desert Storm. Falcon Troop had been assigned a precarious mission: find and obliterate enemy forces dug in near the 70th Easting. They had pushed forward unopposed for 2 days, but Mac knew their luck was running out. The enemy was out there somewhere, and the storm would conceal the ambush. The tanks and Bradleys moved slowly, their engines rumbling in an echo as if they were distant thunder. Each soldier took up a position at readiness, maintaining their state of full alertness, using the pouring rain to scan the surroundings for anyone trying to assault them. A small heat signature suddenly showed up on Mac's thermal sight. His heart skipped a beat. "Hold position," he ordered in a crackling voice over the radio. Came the stop of the convoy and the soldiers getting ready. It was a faint heat signature, but it was there. Something was moving against the storm. Was it an enemy tank, a patrol, or just a trick of the storm? Mac didn't know, but he wasn't going to risk it. "Stay ready," he said. "This could be it." As they got closer, the outline of a tiny village became visible through the haze. It was deathly quiet, far too quiet. There were no signs of life, no animals, no humans, no motion. The buildings seemed empty, but something wasn't right. Mac's instinct screamed. "This doesn't add up," he thought. "Load heat rounds," he said to his crew. The tanks were ready to take their shot, but Mac hesitated. He needed to be sure. Before he could even decide, gunfire erupted from the village. Bullets bounced off the tank's thick armor, but the ambush confirmed Mac's theories. "Engage!" he shouted. The turret-mounted cannon of the Abrams let out a deafening roar, firing off one shell that obliterated the closest building. The other tanks and Bradleys fired, and within seconds their combined firepower reduced the village to rubble. The enemy's trap had not worked, but this was just the first act, Mac guessed. As the dust cleared, another danger arose. One of the Bradleys, Falcon 12, had seen 2 Iraqi T-72s huddled in the storm. "Do we engage?" the Bradley's commander asked nervously. "Make the shot," Mac said in immediate response. The Bradley's tow missile sliced the storm, impacting the first T-72 almost perfectly. A second missile took out the other tank before it was able to react. The crew high-fived, but Mac kept her focus. "Keep moving," he ordered. The mission wasn't over yet. The troop continued, more confidence having returned following the swift victory. But then, as they crested a small rise, Mac's thermal sight illuminated dozens of heat signatures. His heart sank. Below them stretched a huge Iraqi defensive line, tanks, trenches, and anti-tank weapons, all waiting for them. "Tanks! Direct front!" Mac yelled, cutting through the chaos. The battle had begun. The Abrams tanks fired their Sabot rounds, shredding through enemy armor as if it were butter. The Bradleys turned their fire on the infantry and lighter vehicles. Surprised by both the storm and the unexpected attack, they struggled to respond. A handful of them ran away, others simply began shooting aimlessly, their bullets flying in the wild pandemonium. It was now the storm against them, hiding the only thing the Americans needed to do: engage with them accurately by virtue of their thermal sights. Amid the chaos, Mac's tank was hit with a glancing shot. The impact rocked the crew but caused no serious damage. "Black 6, are you hit?" came the blaring call over the radio. "Here," Mac shot back, steady as ever. He knew they couldn't afford to lose momentum. "Push forward! Break their line!" he commanded. The troop charged ahead and overwhelmed the disorganized Iraqi forces with their fire. On their way deeper into enemy territory, Mac observed a group of T-72 tanks. Their crews were scrambling to put up a defense, but it was already too late. "All units, focus fire," Mac ordered. The armor blasted open as the Abrams tanks launched a devastating barrage that turned the enemy apparatus into charred, grasping wreckage. The Iraqi line had collapsed, but Mac knew the battle was still on. "Stay alert," he warned. "There could be more." The company continued, clearing the trenches and taking out enemy hardware. The Bradleys fired their cannons and destroyed anything that was a threat. In one case, a Bradley ran out of missiles and its crew had to reload while under fire. Bullets flew overhead and a soldier crossed over to reload the launcher. He rushed, disregarding the risk, and got the Bradley back in the fight. It was an act of sublime courage that uplifted the spirits of everyone. Finally, the fighting began to calm. The enemy fled in horror, their army shattered. Mac's radio crackled to life. "Casualty report," he said, preparing himself for bad news. "No casualties, sir," came the reply. He felt a surge of relief wash over him. They had not only survived, but triumphed in a convincing victory. In 20 minutes, Falcon Troop destroyed more than 30 enemy vehicles and took out a heavily fortified position, without losing a man or a machine. Even as they regrouped, Mac allowed himself a rare moment of pride. They had defied the impossible and won, a testament to their training, bravery, and indomitable spirit. Before the troop took to the road, Mac stole a final look at the battlefield. In the desert around them were bits of destroyed enemy tanks and vehicles, the remnants of their recent, hectic escape. The storm was starting to lift, and the first traces of sunlight broke through the fog. "Let's get home," Mac said over the radio, calm but firm. With the roar of engines beginning to be heard as they faded off into the horizon, Falcon Troop were gone but would leave a significant remnant on the world behind them that would forever tell the story of their courage and victory.